Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game with over 100 cards, and 99% of those cards are bad. However, these bad cards still make it into players' Edison format decks every single day. Join me as I dive deep into the abyss of bad card design and put these unloved pieces of cardboard to the ultimate test. 3 duels against random strangers on the internet. At the end of each episode, we'll reveal each card's place on the cursed tech tier list, ranking them from almost competitive to downright unplayable trash. Will we stumble upon a broken combo, invent a new deck, or will we just go insane trying to win a duel using Frog the Jam? You will just have to wait and find out. This is Cursed Tech. Today in Cursed Tech, we are looking at Fortress Whale. You see, I have been trying to break rituals for a very long time, and today I am happy to announce Fortress Whale is good. How on earth are we going to get there? Well, you'll just have to watch this episode and find out. You see, rituals in Edison don't really know what to be. They've got a real conflict of identity. They're no longer back in the demise OTK days of 2007. This is 2010 we're talking about. You could go down the route that Keegan takes and go for more of a Dark Calling, Rocks, Fiend style of ritual, which is a very powerful deck. Or you could go down LX Yu-Gi-Oh's North Wenko deck, and this deck is sick and cursed all at the same time. It's like a lockdown style of deck. But you see, the ritual deck that I have created is a little bit different. It has an OTK that plays through Gores and Trag, and in addition, you get to play some of the most unhinged cards ever printed. Gigabyte, Oppressed People, and yes, we are playing one copy of Frog the Jam. The whole idea of my version of rituals is these low-level normal monsters become insane when paired with the broken spell Advanced Ritual Art. Future Fusion and Dragons may be able to send 5 dragons from your deck to the graveyard, but Advanced Ritual Art with an 8-level ritual monster can send 8 level 1 normal monsters from your deck straight to the graveyard. Behold my unhinged ritual deck list. As you can tell, there is a lot going on. We've got Demise, Garlandolph, Preparation of Rites, Fortress Whale, and I've also decided to borrow a little bit from an OTK of the future, the Zilgigas OTK. Let me explain to you what this deck is trying to do in a best case scenario. You need 4 cards, but trust me, it is worth it. The 4 cards are Demise, King of Armageddon, Advanced Ritual Art, Preparation of Rites, and Exodius. First, you activate the Advanced Ritual Art to summon the Demise to the field. You then use Demise, paying 2,000 life points to blow up the field. Even if this gets stopped, that is fine. You don't care about what happens to Demise as long as there is a clear field for you to attack. You're then going to special summon the Exodius, returning all monsters from the graveyard to the deck, and then you can activate Preparation of Rites. This will add back the ARA from your graveyard to your hand and search your deck for any level 7 ritual besides Garlandolph. So the North Wenko or the feature card of this episode, the Fortress Whale. You then use Advanced Ritual Art to summon that Fortress Whale, sending 7 level 1 normal monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and that Exodius has reached 7,000 attack because there are 7 normal monsters in the graveyard. And Exodius has one more effect. When it declares an attack, you can send any monster from your deck to the graveyard. So you can go to the battle phase, declare an attack with Exodius, send 1 more normal monster, and his attack will equal 8,000, resulting in an OTK through Gores and Trag. So that is the goal, that is the ideal scenario, but as you can tell, the deck looks a little bit clunky because we are playing 11 normal monsters. We've decided to go with water normal monsters because not only is water the most represented attribute of level 1 normal monsters, but also you can use Moray of Greed to return the normal monsters from your hand to the deck and then draw 3 new cards. which is perfect. And then we have Frostosaurus and Frog the Jam. These are great in order to let you ritual summon twice. You've got magical mallets, you've got draw spells, you've got a lot of normal monsters, and you have an extremely powerful, interesting OTK. What will happen? Will we win another game using Frog the Jam? You'll just have to wait and find out. Also, sorry about my voice. I have strep throat right now, so I'm kind of sick, so yeah. Let's get into the games.
This first game, we are up against Lightsworns, and we are going first. Our opening hand looks, I mean, we've got Water Spirit and Oppressed People, so how do you think it looks? We're going to set this Royal Decree and pass. My opponent is going to normal summon a Lila, use Lila's effect to change it to defense to destroy our Royal Decree. They're then going to go into the end phase, mill 3 cards, and pass the turn. Our draw is a Moray of Greed, which is not too bad when you have 2 water normal monsters in your hand. We're going to put those back in the deck and draw 3 cards. That ARA is not too bad at all. We're then going to Magical Mallet for 3. And can we draw something good? And that is something good. We're going to activate Preparation of Rites in order to add a Garlandolf from our deck to our hand. We're then going to ARA to summon out that Garlandolf, and when this guy is summoned, he destroys all monsters on the field and he gets 100 attack for each one, so he'll go up to 26. We then activate Preparation of Rites to add the Advanced Ritual Art from our graveyard to our hand and the Fortress Whale from our deck to our hand. We're then going to special summon Exodius by shuffling all monsters from our graveyard into the deck, and then we can activate Advanced Ritual Art, sending 7 level 1 normal monsters to the graveyard. This Exodius is at 7,000 attack, and on declaration, he can send the last normal monster to make him an 8,000 attack Exodius for game. This next game, we are up against Hippo Felipe, who is a longtime viewer, such a nice guy. We're going second, and our opening hand looks, I mean, 2 normal monsters. At least in this deck, when you draw bricks, the bricks are cool to look at. I mean, look at Gigabyte. How can you be mad about this guy showing up? Hippo Felipe is going to set a monster, set a back row, and pass the turn, and we drop another normal monster. We're going to normal summon this Sonic Bird. This will add an ARA from our deck to our hand. We're then going to activate Magical Mallet for 3, shuffling back all those normal monsters, and we draw some interesting cards. We're going to attack into the monster, take 400 damage, set this Royal Decree, and pass our turn. My opponent is then going to just pass the turn right back. We draw an Exodius, not too bad. We are going to flip this Royal Decree, and then we're going to normal summon this Manju of the 10,000 hands in order to add a Demise King of Armageddon from our deck to our hand, and then we're just going to pass. They draw for turn, they're going to set a monster and set another back row, and then pass back to us, and we draw a Frostosaurus. Shuffle back 2 monsters, we draw 2 more normal monsters. But did you notice that one of those normal monsters happens to be a tuner? And if you add up these levels, this is Mistworm. We're going to Synchro Summon Mistworm, targeting the 2 monsters and the fresh back row. They are going to chain enemy controller. This will steal our Mistworm, but we are still in a pretty good spot. We're going to Special Summon Exodius from our hand, shuffling all monsters from our graveyard into the deck. We're then going to activate Advanced Ritual Art, sending 8 level 1 normal monsters from our deck to the graveyard, and now this Exodius is sitting at a clean 8,000 attack. And when we go into the battle phase, we can send 1 more normal monster to make him a 9,000 attack Exodius. This will get in a lot of damage, but they have trap. They just have Tragodia, and so we just pass our turn and pray. They draw for a turn, they're going to set a monster and pass the turn back to us, and we are just going to activate Demise King of Armageddon, destroying the 2 cards that would have stopped us, and then attack directly for game. Now it is time for a best of 3 versus meta. My opponent is playing Machina Lightsworns, and oh my god, Gigabyte Frostosaurus again. There is a reason why all the normal monsters are water monsters. We're going to shuffle those 2 back and draw 3 new cards, and Senju is not bad. We're going to normal summon that, add a Demise from our deck to our hand, and then we're going to pass the turn. My opponent draws for turn. They're going to set a monster, set a back row, and pass. We draw another Giga. I guess I really can't complain when I'm playing 11 normal monsters. We send 2 normal monsters from our hand to the graveyard, and we draw a Manju. Not too bad. We're going to normal summon that Manju, activate its effect in order to add an ARA from our deck to our hand. We're then going to go into the battle phase and attack into their hamster, dealing 400 damage to us. We're then going to attack into the Raikou, which will mill 3 for them, and then we are just going to pass our turn. My opponent is going to draw for turn. They're then going to activate Pot of Avarice, which I never like to see, but they draw 2 new cards. They're then going to normal summon a Fortress. This lets them add a Force from their deck to their hand. They're going to discard that Force to summon out that Fortress from the graveyard and then go into the battle phase, deal 400 to us and 2500 direct. We need to make something happen quickly. They're going to attach this gear frame to the Fortress and then pass their turn. I really wish they didn't do that, because if they didn't, we could have a pretty good OTK. But okay, we're going to activate this giant Trunade. This will bounce their back row and the gear frame back to their hand, which is not good for us. We need to make something happen this turn. We're going to special summon this Exodius from our hand, shuffling all monsters from our graveyard into the deck. We're then going to activate Advanced Ritual Art, summoning Demise. And unfortunately for us, we have drawn 2 of the level 1 normal monsters. We only run 9 level 1s, so we can only send 6 normal monsters from our deck to the graveyard. We have to send the Frog the Jam because it has to be equal to the monster that we summoned, and this is devastating for us, basically. We could have sent 8, but we have to send 7 because 2 of these are in our hand. We are going to normal summon this Gigabyte, go into the battle phase, crash into their monster with a Gigabyte. This will make it go to the graveyard, giving our Exodius an extra 1000 attack, and then we can attack with the Exodius. On declaration, it can send another one, making it 9000 attack. And again, if this was not in our hand, this would have been an OTK. They're sitting at 500 life points, but with the current situation, I cannot kill him this turn, and we effectively lose game number 1. Now it is time for game number 2, and we are going first. Our opening hand looks really good, actually. Only one. Okay, just to rub it in my face. This guy shows up every time. He just shows up. We're gonna normal summon this Sonic Bird, add an ARA from our deck to our hand, and then we're gonna pass. My opponent is going to set 3 back rows and then pass to us. They activate Trap Dust Shoot, and they take our OTK machine, Exodius, out of our hand, and so we're gonna have to get creative. We gotta figure something out. We're going to activate Card Destruction, sending our 2 normal monsters, and we draw Frostosaurus and a Magical Mallet. Not too bad. We're gonna normal summon this Manju of the 10,000 Hands. This will add the North Wind Go from our deck to our hand, and this card is actually really interesting, especially with ARA. I don't think I talked about it, but this card says that you can select a number of face-up cards up to the number of monsters you used for the ritual summon, and while they are up on the field, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So theoretically, because we're sending 7 normal monsters, we could target 7 cards with this, but it's up to, so we target these 2 monsters. And my opponent has this bottomless, but because these are on the field, he cannot bottomless the North Wenko because it will not be destroyed. So we can get in a ton of damage, and then they are just going to draw for turn, set a couple more back row. No monsters is very good for us. We're going to activate Magical Mallet for 2, and we draw nothing useful. We're going to switch this Manju to defense, go into the battle phase, and thank God we did, because if we had not, I think this Mirror Force would kill the North Wenko because they would have both been destroyed. So because we changed that to defense position, we effectively win game number 2 on North Wenko's shoulders. Let's check out game number 3. Our opening hand looks, I think every single, are you Gigabyte again? I mean, I know I play 3 of him, but I swear, I think every single replay I've looked at, I open this guy, so. But when you're playing 11, is 2 the ratio? I don't know. We draw a Manju, which is not bad at all. We're gonna normal some of that Manju, and no, why would you not add ARA? Like, I don't know why on earth I didn't add ARA with Manju. I think I just blanked in the moment. These cards search for the monster, and I mean, I just really don't know what I was thinking. I draw nothing that gets the ARA, attack into this Raikou, and then things are not looking good for us because of that horrible misplay. They're going to special summon a Fortress from their hand, attack us for 25. We take that and we draw Never Punished, away to ARA. We're going to normal summon that Sonic Bird. This will add the ARA to our hand. We're then going to activate the ARA, sending a bunch of normal monsters to summon the Demise and Starlight Road. Starlight Road is very bad for us, but we can still do something. We're going to activate Preparation of Rites to add the ARA from our graveyard to our hand and the North Wenko from our deck to our hand. We activate the ARA, summoning the North Wenko, and my opponent decides to torrential the field. They are so terrified of North Wenko, they torrential their Fortress and their Stardust, but they've evaluated that my deck has no grind game and only does one thing, so that was a very smart decision for them. We try to play this out, but that's the problem with this deck. We're literally searching a Fortress Whale, and we only run one ritual spell, so until we get to an Exodius that puts back the normal monsters, we can just do nothing. There's nothing we can do. So, I mean, I tried a version with Avarice, but then you just draw Avarice in your opening hand and it breaks you. So, we do not win game number 3, but it was an interesting match nonetheless.
I mean, what can I say? It's an all-in OTK deck. You go all in and you OTK. At least we got to summon Fortress Whale. You see, this deck is very similar to Demise OTK in 2007. You have an unbelievable 4-card OTK that when it goes off, it feels unreal, but sometimes it's not going to go off. We're trying to do one thing, and if the one thing doesn't work, then our deck is a pile of useless cardboard trash. I mean, we're not even playing Gores or Trag because we're so all in on the combo. You will win so many games with this deck simply because it doesn't play like an Edison deck. I mean, the power level, it plays so much more like the Zilgigas OTK of 2012. So we're gonna put it in powerful cardboard. It definitely deserves it. It could be competitive, but you're gonna just brick on normal monsters slightly too much. I guess the one thing that makes me really happy about this deck is that Fortress Whale is good in this deck. It is searchable off of the Manju and the Senju. It's a water for the Moray. It's a level 7 that doesn't blow up the field like Garlandolf, so it works with the OTK. It actually has a home in a deck, and that makes me very happy. The more of this series that I do, I keep looking at these crazy cards like Fortress Whale, and it's so heartwarming that I can create a deck that is meant for that card. That horribly bad Yu-Gi-Oh card, this deck, it works, and it's more than just a meme, it's more than a brick, it has applications, and I guess on that note, get ready for the Root Water episode coming up soon, I guess. I mean, maybe he has a home somewhere where he can do something. I'm so sick. Okay, see you guys next time.
Hey, that's the deck we're playing. We're playing oppressed people. I'm not going to make a joke about that. God dang it.